Hey everybody, welcome to Sew with Joe. Today we're picking up where we left off last time, working on a patch on the thigh of my 20 plus year old jeans, one of the pairs of my 20 plus year old jeans. And I got to apologize, I got lost in thought and I started sewing. And yeah, so I've cheated on you briefly. I did some sewing without you present, but only 5 or 6 stitches. I was deep in thought. Lots going through the old duder's head. But yeah, today we got some good world news for you. We're starting out in the UK, having already gotten into it here. Starting off in Brighton, and there is now a requirement in Brighton for what they call B bricks. What's a B brick, you ask? Well, a B brick is a brick-sized home for solitary bees. So bees that don't have a hive, they can find these bricks, and basically what it is, what it looks like, is a brick that's been partially hollowed out, kind of like Swiss cheese. Just a whole bunch of holes built into it where bees can reside. And they are now a requirement for any buildings built from brick that are more than... Actually, the article only said new buildings, so I don't know if it's every new building or if it's just brick buildings. But if the buildings are more than 5 meters high, so basically anything 2 stories and up, are now required to have B bricks. So that's a big bonus for the bees. Now the bee bricks of sorry, big bonus for bees, that is the bee bricks of Brighton. I'm not going to say that again because I don't know if I could. So this is really good news for homeless bees, and if you are, planet-minded, then you do know the importance of bees to the planet for pollination and basically all the food that all the food that grows. So we need to take care of our bee population, and building buildings with bee bricks in Brighton seems to be the way that they're going. One thing I was surprised is that there were so many species of solitary bees. I guess a lot of them do their own thing, and I think the numbers that they threw out in the article were 270 total species, different species of bees, and 250 of the 270 were solitary species. I did not know that. I thought they were all hives. So this gives them an easy place to stay and better chance of survival. And the other thing that they're doing in the same blow is that they are requiring swift bricks. And what those are is a species of bird that nests in the UK for a few weeks on its migratory route in large numbers, and now they're building Swift bricks in with the bee bricks in the same requirement. The only thing that I'm curious about, and I don't know if anyone else has thought of this immediately, having, pardon me, cheers, having the bee bricks around the same places as the Swift bricks. Do swifts not eat bees? I don't know, I thought most birds ate insects. But I don't know. If you know, if you want to Google that, or if you have that knowledge, let me know. Would be interested to know. You know, I hate to shoot the obvious down in the plan, you know what I mean? Oh, it's like one time, so an old work story, sorry to divert from the good news, but this was pretty funny. At work we have what we call, or had, I don't work there anymore, had tailboard conferences, which is basically a safety sheet. And these safety sheets contain information of, you know, where the nearest hospital is, and you know, emergency information and contact information and all this stuff. And the company had done a redesign on the tailboard sheet, and the critical information was placed right at the very top of the sheet. And so I'm sitting in this safety meeting where they're unveiling this new tailboard sheet, and they handed out a copy to everyone, so we could have one for detail. And I'm a clipboard guy, and a lot of people in my line of work were also, you know, heavy clipboard users, because it was the most convenient way to keep notes for the job. You always had a clipboard on you, and you're always writing stuff down. I was a test technician. Well, not a test, I was an electrical tech, but you did a lot of testing. So first thing I did is I clipped the tailboard onto the clipboard, and after they'd done their spiel, I put my hand up and I say, guys, I really hate to be the one to point this out to you, but the second you put this piece of paper on a clipboard, all your vital information is gone. Because all of the vital information was exactly where the clipboard clip covered. And suffice it to say, there were some red faces and some very quick sayings of, oh yeah, okay, we will change that right away. So they had already printed quite a number of them, and they had to make quite a few more. So I feel bad that, you know, I don't think the paper was wasted. I think they actually used those, but then like quickly discontinued them. So I don't think there was any actual waste there. And now it's all done on computers anyways. It's all on your laptop. Back then we still kept actual paper sheets. So anyways, thought that was pretty funny. Just plans that It's amazing how something can get through so many people without them realizing. Cheers. You know, stuff like that's designed by committees and, you know, countless of hours of people getting together and banging their heads together. I think it's like the old saying, none of us is as dumb as all of us. Diverse ideas and points of view and everything are good. But once you get too many people inputting, even though I guess they could have used one person who actually did work and wasn't just on a safety committee. Anyways, I digress. Move on to the next story here. I think it's a better one anyways. Oh yeah, I just had one more note on the bees. It's a good to combat habitat loss, and will give a boost for urban gardens. There's a lot of rooftop gardens and stuff these days that are happening. Pardon me. I took this pin out and I probably shouldn't have. Oh yeah, right. I was just moving it over a bit because I was getting into the seam here a bit. So actually move it to the outside of the seam, and then I can sew on the inside of the seam. Alright. So the next story, I really like this story. It's, you know, maybe not on the scale of mass power production or anything that I usually talk to, but it's a good feel good story. There's a musician who had become unemployed, and decided to go out and perform door to door. Door to door. Sorry, I stumble over that. So it doesn't matter. The person started playing gigs on people's doorsteps. So you just knock on a door and say, hey, would you like to hear a song? And could play requests or, you know, whatever the case may be. And she had a very positive reaction to this from the people who she performed for. I'm pretty sure it was a girl, whatever, woman. So it was posted on Facebook that and it gained some speed pretty quickly. So there were musicians willing to come and do personal performances like that, and it turned into internet site called Give a Song. Give a Song. So what you can do is you can go onto the site and request a location and a song and a person and give them the story as to why, and they will go and perform for that person. It was in the early stages. They posted it on Facebook and got a very large response, and that's where they started picking up musicians. And thankfully a community center contacted them and said, hey, if you're doing this, there's some legalities involved you need to be aware of. So helped them through the paperwork for all that, just to make sure that everything was legit and they wouldn't get in trouble for doing what they were doing. And they crowdsourced funding, and I think they're still crowdsourcing funding to ensure that the musicians actually receive something for their performances. You know, if they're out of work and doing this, it's, you know, a really huge bonus to actually get paid for it. And so far, at their time of writing, which was last week, I think it was, they played more than 360 gigs. They have played private residences, personal care homes for the elderly, food banks, which I thought was interesting, so helping cheer up the homeless and poor. And some mental health projects. So I guess mental health projects have contacted them and said, hey, would you be willing to play for our mental health group? And so that's been happening. Yeah, really cool. Oh yeah, the other way that they're fundraising is when you do make a request, you can make a donation. You don't have to, but you can. I thought that was cool. I like the pay what you can programs. It's like some friends of mine started a skateboarding school. Not necessarily really a school, but just a beginner-friendly time to skate. And it does kind of turn into a bit of a school. You know, people help each other, especially when you're in the same community. And skateboarding can be a tight community if you're with the right people. And their program is also a pay what you can. So basically just donations, whatever you can donate that day. And I think that's a great way to do it. And then you get to see how people value what you're doing. Because if they're just giving whatever they feel they can and what is good, then they will show you what their value of what you're doing is. Unless they can't, and that's the other point of it. You know, you want people of lower incomes to still be able to participate in these things. This is why should skateboarding be elitist? It never has been. The other interesting part of this that I found was kind of cool is two of the musicians involved in the program have now gone on to study music therapy. And so, you know, being involved in a program like this could be shaping careers, could be shaping the rest of their lives. Maybe that's one thing I need to do, is just stop every once in a while and listen to music. I used to listen to music all the time. Like I usually have music playing now, but I'm not actively listening to it as much because now it's all just songs I've heard before. And I need to keep exploring music. There's so much out there. Like, when you think about music and the amount of content that there is out there, you gotta think every little town has a struggling artist coming up trying to make it. You know, everybody's got a great voice in their town. And when you think of how many towns there are, and then when you think of the cities, how many people are in the cities that have talent, and then you multiply that by the number of cities, and you get an absolutely incredible amount of music. You know, it's like YouTube content like this that we're doing right here. You know, people are uploading more content that can ever be viewed. Cheers. Yeah, I'm very thankful for my tiny little corner of the YouTube world. My 4 views per episode is pretty solid. Who knows? Might catch on someday. If it does, awesome. Would be a great way to actually make a living, to sit here and give everyone the good news. We've last story of the episode. I've spoken a number of times about thrifting. I'm definitely a thrifter, and you know, if you couldn't tell. But I have a big story out, I think it's out of the UK again. about a thrift find. What it was a chair. A couple found was a high-backed chair made out of elm and wicker. And before you're groaning and going, oh, wicker has its place, and this was a beautiful chair. And they purchased it for £5 sterling. I think it was pounds sterling. And brought it home and said, you know, maybe we should have this appraised before we start using it. And they brought it in, and their appraiser came back with some knowledge and a number. And apparently this chair was designed by a very influential Austrian. I've been talking about Australia a lot lately, but this is just Austria. Sorry, Austria. It's an influential Austrian artist, and the chair was from around the turn of the last century, so over 100 years old. And it turned out to be worth £16,000 sterling. Sold at an auction recently for that high number. So thrifting can pay. You know, I know it's not really supposed to be a treasure hunt. It's supposed to be for people that need things. But if you can, while you're going around needing things, find something that strike it rich with, well, you know, it's a very good return on investment, that's for sure. So, yeah, keep your eyes open. The wife and I have found quite a number of very, very high-end items at thrift stores. You just have to kind of know what you're looking for. And it's great when they actually fit you, so you can use them. Oh, we missed out on a pair of Osiris sneakers. They were, pardon me, yeah, very, very collectible. Selling for, I think, 300 on eBay or something like that. And didn't grab them right away because we didn't know what they were, and went back the next day and they were gone. So, gotta be on the ball. Take your phone with you. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Cheers. We got a good chunk done today. From here all the way along the side. Tomorrow we'll go down here and then determine how far down on the patch we're going to go and then come across. Or tomorrow, next episode, I'm not sure when it is. I try not to commit to the whole today, tomorrow thing and go by episodes. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, keep chilling. I do really value the time we got together. Don't want to forget to say it because I really mean it. But yeah, till next time, keep chilling. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.